All right, everyone, we should be live. And unfortunately, I don't have my links up there. As usual, I keep forgetting to do that. We've got a lot of news to cover today. I'm going to talk about forming a clanker militia, possibly, according to Representative Tim Burchett. He's introduced articles to allow Marquis, actually, to private individuals to fight the cartels. If that happens, we will be forming a militia, by the way. Literally speaking, it'll be funny and lucrative, by the way. We'll basically be land-based pirates, although you can be sea-based pirates as well. I wander around Bourbon Street. What do you think I'm going to wear? Oh, is it this outfit? Probably. So I've got kombucha in the other room. I probably should have grabbed it. We're going to be wandering into the buyout plan. That's gone through. Gabbard has been confirmed. That's important. The Department of Education is being hazarded by the Trump administration, which I strongly support, by the way. And also, we have a debate over chicken. Yes, indeed. This is rather of import, considering the price of chickens tends to increase when you kill 100 million of them, like the Biden administration did. So, yeah. Happy Flame. For the enema? Lol. So, yes, here I am. The piratical Goth himself. Ahoy, mateys. Arr, you permission to board? Brings my sea chest up. Arr. I don't know. At this point, I've just forsaken everything to have fun. Because, you know, what's life without having fun? Doesn't even make sense. Some people, they live their lives in a very boring fashion. It's like basically you make money, you spend a bit of it, you make some bland, boring bullshit, then you go to sleep and then rinse and repeat. And occasionally you get a vacation. And that's their life. I could not live that kind of lifestyle. It would be impossible. Clem Semple, Long John Warwick, arr. Yeah, when I go to Bourbon Street and I'm looking like this with a pirate coat and a tricorn hat and the gothy boots and everything else, I have a feeling I'll get a warm reception at the Vampire Club. I do intend to go there, by the way. Looks like they have pretty good food, by the way. And JMS, I'm living it for you. Don't worry. Oh, no, I'm living a great life. I'm having a great time, mostly. And I'm never taking this goddamn shit off. I even sleep in this fucking hat. This is one of the best things that I've ever been sent by a subscriber, honestly. We're going to have a little bit of a rant stream today because the news is, there's some stuff in there that's meaningful, but most of it is bullshit. Godzilla 1, tell butt pirate jokes and laugh your booty off. Arr. Butt Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what I'm talking about. Daniel Plainview. The only booty you stealing is clad in skinny jeans. Well, if a chick wears skinny jeans, there's nothing wrong with that. Just saying. It's like when we talk about chicken, we're going to be making sexual references towards women's thighs. JMS, Jeremiah Noonan. Blackbeard's daughter was my great-great-great-great-grandmother. That's cool as fuck. You probably have like a treasure map up in your attic or something like that. Yeah, I'm just having fun at this point. I'm no longer, YouTube algorithmically demotes everything that I make anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I talk about. But I do want to give you the news. Number one, Representative Tim Burchett. I'll be introducing the Cartel, Marquee, and Reprisal Authorization Act of 2025, which would authorize Donald Trump to commission privately armed and equipped individuals or groups to seize persons and property of any cartel, cartel member, or cartel-linked organization, of which there are literally hundreds of thousands in the United States. Here's my proposal. Should this bill go through, we will seek to get a letter of marque from Donald Trump, and we will put together a militia. And I am being very serious about this. This is not a joke. We'll put together a militia and we'll go hunt down cartel members. It shouldn't be that difficult. And I'm pretty good with military strategy. People probably wouldn't believe that. They'd think that I'm just a fucking nerd or something like that. It's not that difficult. If you go in guns blazing and just say, hey, you're a cartel member, I'm going to haul you in, that's probably not going to work. What you do is you ambush them. You have to ambush them one by one and drag them off. And then you, I guess, turn them into the authorities and you get paid for doing so. It's basically on-land piracy. This can actually work. This would not be a problem. Now, this doesn't apply to the average illegal. Most of them are not cartel members. They're illegally in the country, but otherwise they're not breaking the law. But people who are selling fentanyl, etc., you can probably trace those rat lines back where they go, and it wouldn't be that difficult to black bag them, so to speak. JMS, tamale trenches. Yeah, we're going to form a militia. Yeah, literally, if this passes, I'm forming a militia. Anyone who's willing to come and has reasonable skills, you need a couple people to do intel, to trace. Preferably, you would use drones as well. Somebody else would need to do that. I would be commander, of course, and then you need some muscle, of which I have some, but not enough to take down the average cartel member. We're going to form a clank militia. We'll team up. We'll be competing with the Razor Force and the Salty Army, probably. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of militias breaking out. It's going to be great. You'll need a nautical squadron, of course. Yeah, we're putting together a team. Absolutely. If that actually happens, I don't expect the bill to pass. But if it does, on the off chance that it does, and Donald Trump is capable of giving a letter of marque to groups of people to fight cartels, yeah, I mean, there's good money in it. What's wrong with that? That would be fun. It doesn't matter if you live or die. Literally does not matter at this point. Joe, love you, Sticks. Have you seen the video of the lefties singing What Side Are You On? It's Chaz Garden level of cringe and hilarity. No, please send it to me on DM on Twitter. Toast. Sticks Hexenhammer, you're like sexy dynamite. I am sexy, aren't I? No, I mean, if you fight cartels, as long as you do it intelligently, they are very formulaic in their defensive patterns. And so you can compensate for that and outflank them. This is how military operations work. So it'll be fun, but I don't expect it to pass. So unfortunately, there probably won't be a clank militia. Rather sad, actually, because that would be the most fun of a lifetime. Copium poppies, you need to get a parrot and train it to swear to complete the pirate look. I'll get it to say the N-word and then put it on my shoulder during live streams. The Swamp Cleaner, drop your cocks and grab your socks, Congolese. War broke out. Rwanda is getting uppity. Drop your cocks and grab your socks. I get the reference. Rwanda? Let me check this. What's going on in Rwanda? F1 warned against blood-stained Rwanda race by Democratic Republic of Congo. Does this have something to do with, what? Rwanda Grand Prix. I didn't even know that this existed until now. What? When the Rwandan capital, Kigali, hosted the FIA's end-of-the-year prize-giving gala in December, President Paul Kagame formally outlined the country's ambitions to bring Formula One to Africa. However, just a month later, tensions in the region escalated after a rebel group reportedly backed by Rwanda took control of Goma, a Congolese city near the border. The United Nations has condemned Rwanda's alleged involvement, citing thousands of deaths as the result of ongoing violence linked to the M23 rebel group. Apparently, this has bled over into car racing. I'm going to have to look more into that. Thank you for the news tip. One tall order. Christ Dillinger just dropped a Nancy Pelosi dies track this morning, and it's hilarious. Goodness. I have no clue what's going on half the time these days. I'm literally paid to be a news analyst at this point. That's my job, among others. But I don't even know what's going on half the time. I mean, news tips come in literally every half hour or so. I have no clue what's going on with Rwanda. And I guess that they had a car race there, and now there's a diplomatic crisis over it. Interesting. Flowers in her hair. Are you smoking weed, Sticks? No, I haven't smoked weed in quite some time. I can actually handle weed now, John Berger. It's just that I choose not to use it. Mainly because I'm under court order not to use it. And I'm not retarded. Like some people are. I have a feeling that the average person that goes through a New Orleans parish court, they violate their pre-trial conditions regularly. And then they wonder why they're remanded into custody. I'm capable of keeping myself off certain substances for a protracted period of time. I mean, the dude next to me in the court was snorting some sort of powdered substance off of his court papers. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing? And this happened repeatedly. I mean, I was literally in jail there for a couple of days, and somebody was snorting cocaine. Other dudes were smoking a toothpick. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't think that you're going to make it in the legal system. I have a feeling that you're probably going to end up in actual jail, like for a prolonged period of time. Meanwhile, I'm trying to stay on the straight and narrow and, being honorable before the judge, being polite and so forth. I'll be back in New Orleans in a week. I have a feeling there's a reason why the counselor under the magisterial court handling my case was being sweet to me. Probably because she's used to dealing with thugs and assholes, people who are obviously going to violate bond, obviously going to act out. And meanwhile, I'm like, I haven't been through this before. I'm trying my best. I'm going to be respectful. They were smoking a toothpick in the goddamn jail cell. They almost got me in trouble. I got strip searched because they thought that maybe I was involved. And I didn't smoke that shit. I don't have any problem with marijuana, but Jesus Christ. One tall order. Sticks. Orleans Parish Prison, where you were, is considered by many to be the worst prison in the USA. Probably. If you survived that, I think you'll be fine in anything short of a literal gulag. Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it other than the food, because most of it is undigestible. That was the big problem. The big problem is if you go to jail in New Orleans, you're not getting red beans and rice. You know, it's funny. New Orleans is known, it's accredited for its food worldwide. But if you go to jail there, yeah. Ugh. Incel speedrun. The dumbest zeros are those who face muzzles. If you're still afraid of 5-year-old cold, you are more senile than POTUS 46. It's a dead horse. Let it go. Agreed. And by the way, no, I didn't get raped in prison. I knew better than to go to the shower for a reason. Although it's one person at a time and there's a guard overseeing it, so that's not really a thing. Not in a detention facility. I don't know how it's like upstairs. Toast. Tell Melanie I don't mind if she jacks off. I mean, do whatever you want, you know. All right. President Trump, the Department of Education is a big con job. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. Fact check, fundamentally true. But we're ranked 40th. That means something's really wrong, right? I say send it back to the States. Donald Trump is objectively correct here. He's arguing for the abolition of the Department of Education. And I agree with him. And here's why. While I believe that the federal government should have some involvement in education, clearly the current inception of the Department of Education has failed fundamentally for decades and decades. It was incepted, I believe, by Jimmy Carter. The problem is that over that same period, we have fallen and fallen and fallen, and spending more and more and more. We spend an enormous amount of money. We get a declining rate of return. This is the sort of thing that doesn't need to be happening within government. If you're not getting a return on your investment, why continue investing? If I invest money, for example, let's say that I invest $500,000 in a mutual fund, and a couple of years later, I'm left with $400,000 or something like that. Do you think that I'm going to continue working with that particular company unless legally compelled to do so? No, because I want to make money. That's the whole point. You're investing. If you're investing in education and the educational attainment is dropping like a rock, and it is, we were once #1 in the world. Now we're ranked in the mediocre category, well behind most Western European nations, most Eastern Asian nations, and certain others as well. Why continue investing in it? It makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all. You're just wasting your money. So I think we should remove the Department of Education because it's useless. If it's not useful, it should be expendable. Real Sebastian Monroe, will you be in Nowlands on March 4th, Mardi Gras? No, I will be leaving before then. Coffee Slayer, let's make sure that's actually the case. Clank. That's what I'm talking about. I wish I had a spoon here right now. I would clank it in the water, but I don't. That's rather sad. Yeah, as far as the Department of Education goes, it's not necessary. The states are capable of generally handling education. Now, do they do a perfect job? No, of course not. And there will always be rankings within states, too. Keep that in mind. There will always be a bottom and there will always be a top. Pun intended, by the way. For instance, Vermont, I think, is #2 in the nation, my state, as far as educational attainment. We're on par with Germany or the Netherlands, some of the Western, or even Japan. But then you have the existence of, oddly enough, Louisiana or Alabama or certain states like that that do not have a good educational attainment. Some of them are more on par with Uganda. This needs to be solved, but it can't really be solved centrally at the federal level. If the federal government simply eliminated the Department of Education and equalized the same funds it was paying for that across the board for the various states, and maybe weighting it for those that are underperforming, and if we were capable of firing shitty teachers and shitty administrators And if we were capable of getting rid of the DEI in these schools, our attainment would be much, much higher. It would rise significantly. It'll be transformational. It'll also be intergenerational. The problem is that we allowed them to wokeify the schools for decades and decades, and much to the detriment of the kids that are actually being schooled there. And so we have an underperforming population that's fit to flip burgers. No offense to anyone who's, a low-end worker or anything like that. I know how it feels. I don't have a degree. I dropped out of UVM, for example, in my own anecdote. But if you want to produce a lot of skilled workers, engineers, scientists, doctors, people like that, you can't wokeify the schools. Donald Trump is fundamentally correct in attacking the Department of Education because they've been instrumental in causing that problem. They've lowered standards over and over again. We see like Common Core, which I call common crap, No Child Left Behind, which I call No Child Left. The Bush-Obama policy era has destroyed education in the United States even more than the original thoughts and ideologies of the Department of Education incepted under Jimmy Carter. It's been a disaster. It has been disastrous for U.S. education. Back in the 1960s, people were classically trained. They got a good gymnastic education, so, toughening people up. And they wanted soldiers, basically, but, that's beyond the point. So people were more fit. People were more trained. There was a huge focus on science at the time. There was a huge focus on math. It was STEM, basically, within elementary school and high school and things like that. Now it's here, it's Black History Month. We're going to read Malcolm X's manifesto. Hey, it's Women's History Month. We're going to read, I don't know, some novel written by a woman that was hand-chosen simply because a woman wrote it. You're dumbing down the educational standards on a huge level. This has been going on for literally decades. Millennials and Gen Z and now Gen Alpha don't know a time when educational standards were actually relevant, for example. The Gen X is probably the last generation that remembers a time when those standards were at least reasonably imposed. And so it doesn't surprise me that we're falling down the educational rankings. We've fallen behind India, Singapore, China, fucking China of all places, and many other countries, most of Western Europe. And it doesn't need to be happening. Copium poppies. If you get strip searched, you got raped or at least sexually assaulted. No, that didn't happen. Unless, of course, you engage in the search voluntarily and without coercion. I did. I told him, go ahead and fucking search me. I don't give a shit. Number one, you don't really have the right to say no when you're in jail. Number two, I did nothing wrong and knew I did nothing wrong. So I'm like, you're not going to find anything on me. I'm not the one that was smoking the goddamn toothpick. Go ahead and drug test me. See what happens. Now, these dudes, it was weird. They come flying into, well, it's not really a cell, but a holding thing with a glass in front of it. You can't shit in peace, by the way, when you're in a NOLA jail. And one by one, they come through and they're huffing down a couple of hits of the toothpick behind the toilet. And there was like 5 of them. And they were led by this Hispanic dude who had been sleeping there. And when the guard came in, me and this other dude were in there. And we were the ones that got searched. And I'm like, dude, I didn't smoke anything. And the dude had hidden his lighter, which somehow, I'm assuming up his ass, he had smuggled into the jail. And he had hidden it in a fucking sandwich, which is goddamn ridiculous when you think about it. It's like, Jesus Christ, can't you spend a few days without huffing the fucking pot? I told the guard, actually, and I know that snitches get stitches. But there are some circumstances under which you have to act in self-interest. I'm like, okay, I can probably get remanded into custody, or I can tell him, look, check the fucking sandwich. He hid it in there. And so I told him. I told the guard that he hid the lighter in the sandwich. I don't give a shit if you're smoking weed in prison. It means nothing to me. But if you fuck with me and you try to get me in trouble, you're going to get fucked. I'm assuming that that person is in prison right now. That's the way that I work. If you don't fuck with me, I'm never snitching on you. I don't give a shit what you do, unless it's to me, my family, or my friends. But if you do something that directly impacts me, that's a little bit different now, isn't it? Oh, you got me strip searched? Well, come on, asshole. Try me. See what happens. This'll be funny. I made plenty of friends in jail. It was a very, very weird experience. I never imagined that it would be anything like that. John McKinney. People want Jon Stewart as the Democrat nominee as their Donald Trump. Would that be a good idea for the Dems? No. That'd be a terrible idea. Alamandorius, hello. Super chat plus Canadian tariff. Hey, Sticks, how likely do you think it is that President Trump and his team will be able to overcome the shenanigans? It will take time, but I think that they will be able to do so. No. John Berger, snitching on the drug trade is one of the ways you will get raped in prison. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Don't fuck with me. If you're not fucking with me, I don't care if you're smoking drugs. Or if I see you snorting cocaine when I'm in a jail cell, I'm not going to tell anyone. But if you get me strip searched, if you violate my NAP, I'm going to snitch on you and get you fucked. That's just the way that it works. As long as you're not fucking with me, I don't give a shit what you do. Oh, you're fucking another dude in the ass over there. I didn't see anything. Oh, you're fucking one of the ladies over there in the ass. I didn't see anything. The guard is fucking you in the ass. I didn't see nothing. You know, I'm blind temporarily. It's a big problem. But if you fuck with me, then there's going to be a fucking problem. And I know how to get problems solved. Basically, shut your fucking mouth unless somebody is fucking with you. That's the way to do it in jail. Don't offer any insult, but don't allow any insult. Anything else, leave it alone. You know, that's the way to do it. Acme. Why are you upset that I'm pointing out the obvious feelings of your boyfriend? Whatever. The whole no snitching culture has resulted in an entire generation of degenerates who have no future. It's been an overall detriment on society. No, because I don't like government and I don't like the legal system. So if I'm remanded into custody, let's say I spend a week in jail and I see someone making, toilet wine or something like that, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to pretend I saw nothing. Don't worry. If I'm your bunkmate in prison or something like that, you don't have to worry about me snitching unless you're going to get me in trouble. That's the only limitation. Fuck snitches. Matt says RFK has been confirmed. Excellent. Yeah. Acme, jail is not prison, dude. No one makes toilet wine in jail. I'm well aware of the distinction. Most people use those terms interchangeably, however. Snitching is wrong under every circumstance unless it is in self-preservation. If you're not hazarded, do not snitch. If you're not being personally hazarded, like you're going to get 60 days in jail or something like that, then don't snitch. Just leave it alone. Let people do what they want. Oh my God, they were smoking weed. Well, it wasn't a problem until the goddamn sheriff came into the room and strip searched me. Then I had no choice but to say, look, I'm not responsible for this. There's where the lighter is. That's all I did. But that's because they were retarded and they thought that they could get away with smoking weed behind the toilet in a jail cell. That's not a good idea, just to be clear. Jacques Bothma sent 7 ZAR. I don't know what that is, but thank you anyway. No comment. Apparently, I skipped a super chat. Shit. I'll try to find it. Sometimes I think people are trolling me. Like they didn't send a super chat, but they make me Garrett Thomas. Lost brain cells reading my X feed with all the TDS and MDS. If the economy skyrocketed over the first weeks, libs would claim it was Biden's successful economy. Now everything is Trump's fault. Yeah, Trump raised the price of eggs. It's totally his fault. Acme. Yeah, dude, you can dream all you want. I'm not going to touch you, weirdo. You're presumptively male, so I don't want you to do so. And if I was a homosexual, there's nothing you could do to stop me from violating you. Yeah, there is, but okay. By the way, technically, you're making a terroristic threat. That's a felony. Just saying. It's a good thing that I don't believe in the legal system. Pilgrim Media, Captain Sticks, who would you ties to the yard arm first? Probably this moron over on Rumble. Oh, you're not talking to me. Okay, then never mind. I guess you don't get the yard arm. I'd probably tie myself to the yard arm and just be like, fuck it. That'd be funny. We've got so much news to cover and so little time. It's a big problem. Let's get to our sponsors first, though. We've got cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. I use them every single morning. There's a reason why I use them. Because in my experience, they work. Boosting energy, immune renew. That's the one I've got over here right now. I've got all 3 varieties. It's some good stuff. You can always resupply too. And it's not expensive or anything like that. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons. Also, you can get bookmarks, which are important for people like myself who really, really love books. I've got, I think, 6 or 7 of them still left. I gave some of them out as gifts. And the rest of them I'm using in books that I'm actively reading. BiltongUSA.com. Yes, Anton can hook you up with the latest and greatest meat, and it's amazing. He also sells Bovrite and things like that. Sticks, Hex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts are available. I have some of this right now. Oh, it's massively salty, but the flavor is delicious. Just a single teaspoonful of that would flavor your soup, for example, and salted at the same time. So it's economical. Wicked Needle Embroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats. It's a good idea because they've got baseball caps. Unfortunately, no tricorns available, but we'll be looking into that in the future. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com. You can get a seed survival bucket, grow some Turk's turbans, some tomatoes and stuff like that, leeks and other vegetables. You can also get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap. It's the official soap brand of Sticks Hexendom. Webster'sWares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get all sorts of stuff. We got blades. Careful when you open them up because they are exceptionally sharp. We've got beanies available. That was just a joke about Tim Pool more than anything else, who has, by the way, moved exclusively to Rumble. And there's still probably some Trump paraphernalia available there as well, in case you want that. And also jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com, where you can get the official Clank blend. This is my coffee. Mine. It belongs to me. Every ounce of it is my coffee. I chose that blend out of 3 because it was the smoothest and also hit harder. The first blend was a little bit more on the bitter side. I don't like it too bitter. The third blend was a little bit too light. The second blend, though, was just right. And so it's a 10 out of 10 Clanker coffee. That's what I'm talking about. Doc Holliday, RFK Jr. confirmed. Please, please, Mr. President, this is too much winning. I can't take it anymore. Not. Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it. I'm also not surprised. Doc Holliday, Acme, I got all day to cheese dick this. $10 is in your honor. Next, this is Acme. Next, you'll tell me I'm not sodomizing your father well enough. Tell me more about your gay love. At this point, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. Shit posting is funny, though. Chewy Fernandez. Good morning, Sticks. RFK Jr. confirmed 52 to 48. Yes, I guess that RFK Jr. is officially in to administer the health department. This is absolutely fucking hysterical, by the way. Did Mitch McConnell vote against him? I want to know. Somebody live chat. Did Mitch McConnell vote against him? I bet anything he did. Doc Holliday, Acme, your mom said the best part of you slid down the crack of her ass during childbirth. Ooh. Mitch McConnell did vote against him? Why am I not fucking surprised? Any obstruction that he can offer, he will do. Mitch, the goddamn bitch turtle McConnell. Why am I not surprised? I mean, I would be surprised if he had voted for him. Pretty sure he was the only Republican to vote against him. Yeah. Mitch, my dude, I realize that you're on your way out. You're no longer in control of the Senate anyway, and you're literally dying before our eyes. Can you please just stand down and stand off? Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is. Yeah, Mitch the snitch. Yeah, Mitch the bitch. That dude has lost it. Nick Rotellini, Mitch and Fetterman also. Well, Fetterman will vote, basically on party lines for the most part. BW, Sticks. I'm a little upset that Trump still sent Ukraine aid, although I understand that he kind of has to because of Democrats. He has to punt for a little while, unfortunately. Ramon C. GTC, can we impeach Mitch as a nation? I wish that we could get rid of Mitch McConnell and tell him, go along with Joe Biden, go to his McMansion and just sundown. The dude's got like huge bruises on his hands, obvious blood clots. He's having absence seizures. He's going crazy on a regular basis, saying weird shit. Just go away, please. That's all we're asking. Can we give him a golden parachute? Like Trump should offer him $10 million and be like, Mitch, take this $10 million, buy a bunch of cocaine with it, and go and spend the last couple years of your life just snorting cocaine or something like that. BW, will Trump stop sending Ukraine aid? Possibly. Sigil, bitch McConnell voted against. Yeah. Again, I'm not fucking surprised. One tall order, control of the Senate. I'm not sure Mitch McConnell has control over his bodily functions. Yeah, he's ceded that position, basically. Doc Holliday, Sticks, I got to go. Please tell Acme thanks for the $25. Thank you, Acme. No, Dave, Acme, you're on good drugs. Yeah, I think that there's some substances involved, man. It's probably like Cheech and Chong, man. That's a toothpick, man. Yeah, look at this weed. Yeah. 75,000 federal workers take President Trump's buyouts as offer expires. Now, about 3% of the federal government's workforce has effectively taken a voluntary layoff at the moment. This is going to be a huge savings. It's a little bit less than anticipated. They were anticipating 5% or thereabouts, but it's still an improvement. It's still, can you imagine 75,000 people paid at a surplus, by the way, by the taxpayers? Can you imagine how much money that's going to save? Probably a little bit substantial. Yeah. Some of these people will probably be from the IRS and shit like that. So I consider this a huge win for the Trump administration. I like how the legacy media, though, is fixated on the topic of it being less than anticipated, because, again, 5% was sort of the marker. Well, no shit, Sherlock. A lot of people don't want to get bought out. By the way, give me a second here. There's a lot of noise in the background, and I want to address it really quickly. I'll be right back. Okay, I addressed that. Pilgrim Media, when does Sticks and Sleazy P the movie come out? I would totally be willing to cut a movie with Sleazy P Martini. We could have we could do a short or something like that, like a short video. Something like Gay N-Words from Outer Space, which most of you have never seen. I would post the link, but I'd probably get banned for posting it even though it's live on YouTube. Just look up Gay Niggers from Outer Space. It's basically a satire of blaxploitation films. Comes from, what year was it made? I think it was made in the 90s. And it's hilarious, by the way. It's about a bunch of black gay dudes that save Earth from women because they're part of some sort of interstellar colony of gay black people. It's hilarious, actually. It's probably one of the ultimate comedies of all time. When I first realized that it existed, I couldn't even believe that it existed. Gabbard has been confirmed, by the way. Tulsi Gabbard is in there. Apparently RFK is as well. This is good news. Now I think the only one left is Kash Patel of those big three. So with Tulsi on DSI, on Intel, and RFK Jr., Zeldin's been confirmed. With all of these people, Trump has effectively assembled a dream team. These are people who, number one, are going to be more loyal than in his first term. And number two, going to be probably a lot more effective. I think that they'll get right to work. And if the first few weeks is any indicator, that appears to be the goal. Basically, throw everything at the liberals, at the uniparty that you can, and they can't block it all. It's impossible because it's like, imagine you have a shield. If somebody fires an arrow at you, you can probably block it with the shield. Let's say that 1,000 people are launching arrows, barrage after barrage at you. You're not going to block all the arrows. Eventually, you're going to take a hit. That's basically what Trump appears to be doing, which is hilarious, by the way. I'm glad that Gabbard got conferred. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't quote that particular movie without being banned. Sigil Stone, Acme is smoking Doberman. Jesus. Cultivated Mind. Hello, Clankers. By popular demand, we have our subscription service up and running for 15% off your recurring order. Improve focus, gut health, energy, nerve pain, and more. Cultivated-mind.com. Again, I take it every morning. Sigil Stone. It came out in 1992 and is one. I can't actually say the word. Gay N-word is one word. Important to note if you're looking for it. It seems to come up either way. I mean, it was literally a satire of blaxploitation films. Technically speaking, it's a woke film. And people don't fully understand that. It's probably the reason it's still on the internet. Alamandorius. I saw that on YouTube back in 2010. Lol. I wonder if it's still around. You know what amazes me, Sticks? Trump is doing what many Dems have said they wanted to do for decades, and now they screech. Yeah, the hypocrisy is noted. Philip Ransom, RFK Jr. just got confirmed. Yes, let's celebrate. The health department will be run by someone sane for a change. I'm not a huge fan of RFK Jr.'s ideas, at least in totality, but he's got some good ones. And now watch, the liberal legacy media, I guarantee I'll be covering this tomorrow. They are going to go absolutely ape about this. Oh my God, the vaccine denier is running the health department. How can they do this to us? Yeah, the dude that doesn't want to call a bunch of chickens for no reason is running the health department because avian flu is not really a problem. Wow. Yeah, a terrible hiring decision. Semen Cannon, can we make the shitlibs eat their veggies now? Well, they're already eating them to begin with. They're not eating their meat. I like to eat both myself. Now we're going to wade into the most controversial topic of the day. I'm going to be paying close attention to chat, by the way, on this. I made a tweet earlier. It was a response to Meme Bastard. One of these has to go. This has to do with chicken components, fried chicken, I guess. Breast, wing, legs, or thigh. Now, I said thigh. Apparently, there's no love for wings, though. And I'm like, chicken wings, isn't that ubiquitous within U.S. culture? Hear me out, please. Cuisine, like the foodie debates, are so much more vicious than anything you're going to get within politics, news, even religion. Food is the number one thing that people rip each other apart about. Let me try to rationalize. The breast. A fried chicken breast becomes a chicken sandwich. That's the whole goddamn point. Also can be shredded apart and put in chicken soup, but that's beyond the point. The wing gets dipped in things. So you're having a party. You have a platter of wings. You dip it in the fucking sauce, whatever hell sauce you want, and then you eat the meat. The leg is the perfect part of the chicken. That is unimpeachable. Literally nobody's voting for leg on this because chicken legs are just perfect. Who does that leave out? It leaves out the thigh. I have never been a fan of chicken thighs, whether they're fried or whether they're cooked otherwise, not a fan. And I pointed out thighs on women equals tasty. Thighs on chicken equals expendable BS. You would not believe the number of people who jumped down my throat making this post. I can make the most insane political post ever. I can outright troll. I can post pictures of literal shit, and I will get less kickback than if I weigh in on which variety of chicken cut I would rather eliminate. This has happened over and over. I wanted to have a bit of a rant, just a little bit, just for a short period of time. I've posted pictures of my food before. And any time that I do that, other than with the cream of mushroom, that's the one exception. Apparently, I made that exceptional. Other than the cream of mushroom, every time that I post pictures of the food that I've made, people jump down my throat. And it's like, okay, I made a Florentine soup. Well, you made it wrong. Why did you include so many onions? Why is the broth of a different color than the one that I make? Oh my God, you made so much soup. Oh, you made too little soup. And stuff like that. Let's say I make creamy tomato basil. You added too much cream. You added too little cream. You didn't chiffonade basil on the top. You didn't add scallions. The list goes on. You didn't homogenize it enough. You didn't keep it rustic enough. This has happened over and goddamn over. People who are into food and cooking are so much more vicious than people that are into politics. I would rather be in a room with a bunch of progressives, honestly, than a bunch of foodies. Like if I had to share a home for 30 days with a group of people, okay, here are your choices. Either you're sharing the house with 4 communists or you're sharing the house with 4 people who are cooking inclined. I'm going to choose the goddamn communists. You wouldn't goddamn believe it. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, they're exactly Rocco's Life. Soup Nazis. That's exactly what they are. It's insane. And I never thought that that would be a thing. Like when I first started, you know, putting pictures of my soup up and stuff, I'm like, okay, people will think that this is like homely and cute. No, shit. No, absolutely. I learned my lesson. There's a reason that I stopped posting them. Sigil. Chicken thighs are goddamn vile. Seems Clankdom is filled with a lot more third worlders than previously thought with their chicken thigh eating. Chicken thighs are pig feed. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're bad. It's just they're not as good. The chicken breast is more useful. You can turn that into a sandwich. The legs are perfect. I think pretty much everyone agrees with them. I thought that wings would be the most popular. People eat chicken wings all the time, probably too much, especially if they're like buffalo chicken wings or something like that. But apparently there's no love for wings. And then I was thinking to myself, like, did I go into a different timeline? Because I was sure that chicken wings were, other than the drumsticks, of course, were the ones that were mainly sought after. I didn't realize this. Not just a string. Yes, it's basically drumstick versus thigh. So the thigh is literally the thigh of the chicken. So yeah, I mean, I will, a woman's thighs, those are great. But on chickens, I would say the drumstick is best. The wings are second. The breast is good for making like a chicken patty sort of thing. You know. Alan Foster, PSA, Styx was immediately suspicious of J6 the day after when everyone else, conservatives, everyone was shitting on Trump. Yes, I was. Alamandorius, wings give you less meat per dollar. Yeah, but I mean, they're more for dipping purposes. Like, let's say you're just eating chicken on a sandwich. You're going to want the breast. If you're eating chicken sort of on its own, seasoned preferably, you want the drumstick. And if you want it to be dipped in a sauce, you want the wings. That's the whole point. Or if you're having them spicy, the wings. You get less meat, of course, but they're not that expensive. So what's the odd man out? It's the thigh. But people, I mean, look at the comments on that Twitter post that I made. People are like telling me that I'm crazy because the thigh is the one that I chose. And some people, even my dad disagreed with me. He's like, well, no, the chicken thigh is great. And because you can make it into soup easily and stuff like that, it has a good flavor. Agreed. But of those 4, which one is the most useful and which one is the least useful? Drumsticks are perfect. Virtually everyone agrees. Wings are perfect for dipping. Breasts are perfect for putting on a sandwich. The odd man out, especially if it's fried chicken, is the goddamn thigh. So yeah, my dad, who's a chef, I have a disagreement with him. We'll probably bant about this later. Just saying. Yeah, Clem Simple, my girlfriend makes thighs better than any of the other parts. Yeah, well, what's between the thighs is the real kicker. That tastes even better. But we're talking about chicken, not about adult female women. Sigil, Clankdom purity test. Put a gun to each clanker's head and have them cook a steak. Pull the trigger if the pink is all cooked out. It's fine to eat a well-done steak. I just don't know why you would want to. I'm not a food purist. I think it's basically like people cook it the way that they want it. So some people want fish a little bit more dry and cooked. Some people want it more moist. Some people want different parts of the chicken and stuff like that. But this is the thing. I mean, I'm hands up against the wall mode. All I was saying is that of those 4 cuts of chicken, the thigh would be the one that I would forsake. And people thought I was crazy for it. And apparently wings are not in demand at the moment. God damn, I got to side with the goddamn football fans. I'm sure they're eating their hot wings. Fair frozen. What about full chicken leg, drum and thighs? Roasted is my main driver of meat these last months. I make a mean fried chicken because I make it Southern style. Heavily seasoned, extremely breaded, very crispy on the outside, very succulent and moist on the inside. Moist. I make really good fried chicken. Just saying. I'm not going to humble brag about this one. But that being said, like if I made fried chicken, I put it on a platter and then I take a picture of it and put it on Twitter, I'll get people saying, it's too greasy. There's too much breading. Hey, that doesn't look juicy enough. Hey, it looks too juicy. You can't win. It's impossible. You can win in politics. You can win in religious debates. In food debates, forget it. Just give up. I like fried chicken, and I like chicken and dumplings. I'm not normally a huge chicken fan, though. When I get back to NOLA in a few days, I'm going to have turtle soup again on Ralph's on the Park. Now, that is what I call fucking tasty. You don't know food until you've been to New Orleans. Let me tell you that. I say this as a New Englander. Oh, my God. Go on the Natchez, red beans and rice. Go literally anywhere. I mean, food is basically the entire existence of the city. Food and parades and shit like that. It's party zone. Imagine, you take your kids to some party park or something. Well, you should just take them to New Orleans because the party is everywhere. Oh, wait, the problem is the party is only for adults, generally speaking. Turtle soup, red beans and rice, dirty rice, gumbo. I'm going to eat it all. I'm going to devour the whole fucking city. Like, I'm just going to open my mouth really extra wide and start devouring the entire city. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I mean, being more serious. Food culture is really, really whack, honestly. It's much more judgmental. Like, I get along with leftoids, and I do have a few in my contacts. I get along with them better over political issues than I get along with the average person, even some clankers with regards to food issues. It's goddamn insane. Pilgrim Media, chicken and waffles and fresh hominy grits. I don't like grits. I've tried them 3 or 4 times. That's one thing on which, yeah, I don't like them. Inland Surfer, high sticks, chicken quarters at the best. Leg and thigh together. Local butcher has 40-pound box at $89 a pound. Nice. Clem Semple, do you use taco shells or tortillas? Tortillas. I am that this is one thing, this is one hill I will die on. When you're making tacos, you must use a soft shell. Preferably, it's the corn and flour mix. That's the best one. It cooks the best. It needs to be fried in a significant amount of oil. It's not supposed to be a health food. Once it's toasted up and browned, and you can poke little holes in the bubbles that generally form, although with the corn added, it doesn't form as many of them. Once that's toasted up with the meat inside of it, which should be pre-browned and heavily seasoned, it's, again, not a health food. You can add whatever you want to it. I know that on the western side, like in Southern Cali and stuff like that, they tend to use the hard shells. They're not as tasty. I mean, you can use them. It's like you can make a decent taco out of them. But you need to fry your tortillas and harden them up yourself. Stiffen them, get them ready, and then put the shit inside. I learned from actual Mexicans. On this, I know what I'm talking about. It's just like I learned how to make fried plantains, which I made a little screed of actually years ago. I made fried plantains, right? This is now a food rant. And, you slice them up and then you fry them and serve them and season them however you want. With the green plantains, generally, I will use like a savory seasoning. So we're talking paprika, some garlic powder, etc. With the yellow or darkened ones, they're more sweet. So you add like maybe a little bit of nutmeg, a bit of sugar, a pinch of salt, whatever you want. And I made them. And people were saying, that looks greasy as fuck. And I'm thinking to myself, I literally learned this from somebody from Ghana. You don't want to step to me on this, but they insisted. Happens all the time. Yeah, tortillas are proper for tacos. The hard shell ones, they're perfectly acceptable. They're perfectly edible. You can make them tasty, but they're not authentic. It's just like enchiladas. And even then, I mean, I had to learn my own enchilada sort of etiquette myself. People are food snobs most of the time. But there are some foods that there's a certain way to do them properly. I mean, you can do them any way you want. It's to taste. But there's a certain way that's authentic, so to speak. It's sort of like with Italian food. Go to Italy and, grab your jar of ragu. See what happens. You're going to get chased down the goddamn street. There's a reason for that. Although I will say a little bit of adulteration of Prego is perfectly fine. But I prefer to use just tomato paste. I like to make my own tomato sauce for spaghetti. I do not use pre-jarred sauces unless absolutely necessary. They're never going to be as good as the one that I make. I make it authentically. I learned it from Italians. When you have a large international reach, you can learn all sorts of interesting cuisine from people around the world who know how to make it authentically. In fact, if any of you want to send me DMs on Twitter with interesting recipes that you know how to make and you can replicate it authentically, yeah, I'd be appreciative. Yeah, absolutely. I love cooking. When I was younger, I never thought that I was capable of cooking. When I got older, I realized that I had it in my blood. Probably because my dad's a chef and my mom is a cook. So there's a reason for that. Ramon C. GTC, have you had mofongo, green plantain mash? No, I haven't. Look that up. If you can send me a recipe. Pilgrim Media, crawfish, boudin, and crab etouffee. I don't really eat crab, but I love crawfish. Oh, they have this restaurant in Enschede in the Netherlands. Fuck was its name? Can't remember. Just a sec. It's been a while. It's like a Lebanese Turkish fusion. Habibi's, yeah. They have the most amazing crawfish you will ever have in your goddamn life. You will eat it from head to fucking tail. They're a bit on the expensive side. They call them prawns there. They're a bit on the expensive side, but holy goddamn shit. I couldn't stop eating them. By the way, I absolutely hate lobster. I've had it 3 times in my life. I've never liked it. I've had it like the New England style. I've had it in a chowder, and then I had it like Asian style. I just don't get it. DK Liberty. Now I want sticks to eat a Navajo taco on live stream. I don't know exactly what that is, but yeah, I'll eat it. Yeah, no, I've had lobster multiple times. I just don't understand the appeal. Not just a string. People were never supposed to do politics like today. Shows have invaded daily life is by government. Shows foods and culture are supposed to be what matters most, really. Chicken parts are for different dishes. Sigil, Del Grosso, best sauce. Blow me, urbanites. My sauce is the best sauce. Trust me. Copium poppies. I mix pre-jarred spaghetti sauces and add various seasonings. Also, I add multiple kinds of meat and not just hamburger. My spaghetti is awesome. I will compete with you sometime on a spaghetti stream. That's what we need to do. We'll have a spaghetti stream. We'll get a bunch of clankers together. We'll all mix our own sauces. We'll boil up a big batch of linguine or something like that. And then we'll have a bunch of other clankers taste test it. I guarantee I win, though. On this one, I guarantee I win. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage, boiled crawfish going for around $4.45 a pound. Oh, yeah, I've got to get Kilowatt. I've got to get Alligator when I'm back in NOLA as well. I'm going to go on a swamp tour, I think. I'm going to go on one of those boats with the big propeller and behind it. That's going to be fun. At this point, I'm just rambling. Yeah, I knew that food was going to be the main event of the live stream because of how people react so viscerally to anything food related. The food is the wrong color. The food is the right color. The food is bad. The food, Jesus, it's impossible to appease everyone. Sigil Stone, I'll taste test. I'm a bottomless goddamn pit. Yeah, I mean, if you serve me spaghetti, I'll serve you spaghetti. We'll have to do a live stream of it, though. We'll get as many people together as possible in some neutral location and just have a huge fucking spaghetti party, I guess. Boink mess. Be just like a chili cook-off. Someone gonna show up with just cans and a pot. Oh, chili. I'm going to wade into it yet again once before I go offline. Please send no more super chats, by the way. Chili requires beans unless it's being used as a condiment. Southwesterners are now going to bitch at me. Apparently down there, chili is basically tomato sauce and does not require beans. Pete Burt, Stick's dad is probably hilarious. Yes, he is a meme dad. Yes, he cracks the dad jokes regularly. He also likes politics and frequently says sarcastic things about them. Sigil, Sticks doesn't serve spaghetti. All he's packing is angel hair. No, I use linguine, generally speaking. I like those long, flat noodles. I don't like regular spaghetti or angel hair or anything like that. Salad fingers. I get that reference too. Salad Fingers, great series. You should look it up if you haven't seen it. If you ain't from the early 2010s, you probably don't know what that is. Get Stick's dad on stream. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. That'd be funny. He might get me banned. He has a little bit of a loose filter when it comes to political issues. Maybe I can have him tell some of his food stories. Hey, that would be funny. I love this rusty spoon. Nettles. By the way, nettles are delicious. You can turn them into tea. You can saute them with a bit of butter and a little bit of garlic. Oh, absolutely delicious. Okay, I'm going to try to get my dad on the live stream tomorrow. I'll try to do that. He's pretty cool. I mean, he puts up with my bullshit, so he's got to be pretty cool. Yeah, I'll tell him after this live stream. I'll tell him that everyone is demanding that he come onto the live stream to tell some food stories or something like that. He's got quite a lot of them. He used to work with a bunch of Jamaicans, for example. They were migrant labor, literally, when he was working at the restaurant. And they brought in a thing of Scotch bonnets, which are fairly spicy. And it was, I think, pickled in rum or something like that. And they thought that there's no way that he can eat this because these are really spicy. And he just grabs the jar and he starts, like, you know, piling them down, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And he was working with some Polish people, actually, for a while. And then he started telling Polish jokes, which was funny. Don't worry, he's doesn't really give a shit or anything like that. He I think likes ethnic minorities quite a bit. But yeah, he would tell jokes like, and no offense, I know that I have Polish fans. This is not my joke. He said something like, where do Polish people keep their surfing boards? And what was the punchline? I'm butchering the joke. My apologies. In the septic tank or something like that. I love the Polish, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to insult anyone. Copium poppies. Angel hair is good for pesto or Alfredo dishes, but not for spaghetti. Agreed. Strongly agreed. So I was saying Sticks Dicks is small. Yeah. I mean, I would show it on camera, but, you know, most of you don't have a microscope, so it'd be a big problem. Yeah, Polish jokes are funny because, like, the Polish are really long-suffering and stoic and really great people. Like, I would love to go and see Poland, but at the same time, there's like 10,000 jokes about them. And Estonians, for some reason, I'm not 100% sure why. Lord of the Ree. What are your thoughts on biblical anarchy? I've been looking into it for a couple of years now, and the more I read, the easier it is to build a case for rejecting unjust authority. No kings but Christ. Yes, you're a low churcher, then. No ritualism. There needs be no religion. You minister unto one another. That's the whole point. That's literally what Christ taught. But most self-professed Christians don't understand this. They think that your religion is going to see stained glass windows and stuff like that. It's sad, because according to the teachings of Jesus, they're all going to hell. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, I want to see Poland. I want to see the Carpathian side of Poland. Then go down to Romania and see the Carpathians down there, like Vlad and stuff like that. That sounds so cool. Eastern Europe is a great place. It's just, you know, I haven't had time to actually transit there. Also, I don't know how the internet connectivity would be, you know, other than using a phone in some parts of Eastern Europe. I'm just having fun at this point. We've gone well over an hour. Let's go a little bit further. What's wrong with that? I will have to take a break to use the bathroom at some point, though. That'll be a bit of a problem. Rocco's life. I want more pagan snake rituals. I wish I had that rubber snake that I had before. I don't know where it is, though. How sad. Patch Christ. So is that what John Lennon is singing about when he sang No Religion 2 in Imagine? No. No, he didn't believe in any form of spirituality towards the end. I believe in spirituality. I don't believe in organized religion. And I'll tell you why. The original Christians that settled the United States were low churchers. They were heretics, effectively. They expunged the concept of ritualism. So the church was mainly a civic gathering place. And they would have the Bible there, but they would also have the Book of Common Prayer and in their homes. And generally, they would pray their conscience. The church was more of a civic meeting place than anything else. This was what early Christians in the Americas typically practiced. There was no ritualism. So it wasn't decorated with stained glass. In fact, the church typically doubled as a courthouse, too. No stained glass, no fancy ornaments, etc. It was understood that the money that was raised by the community funded the church, And the pastor was, able to live a proper living and get their food and stuff. But they weren't made up all in gold and ornaments and stuff like that. And it was a better system. It was a more wise system, in my opinion. These days, many churches have devolved into ritualism. That is, that exorbitant sums of money are used on raising great churches that are not used for great purposes. In fact, they're usually dens of iniquity, as Jesus would term them. They're used to fund the elaborate salaries of people at the higher end of that ecclesiastical authority and so forth. And that's what's happened. The Catholic Church, the Episcopal Church, hell, even to an extent, even the Unitarians and Mennonites and stuff like that. If you want to find a truly wise low church, you're going to have to go live among the Amish more than anything else. The Methodists are a little bit better, but even then, problems. And they've gotten away from the teachings of Jesus Christ entirely. This is why I say I oppose Christianity. It's not because I oppose the concept of Christianity. It's because I oppose the organized religions that have capitalized upon it and perverted it and corrupted it. Ultimately, in a way, I'm a little bit of a Christian, which probably surprises 99% of you. But that's because I understand the original Christianity. I understand what the actual teaching was. It's nothing like what's being taught in the average church. Churchianity is evil. If Christians acted like Christ wanted them to act, I would probably just join Christianity. But they don't act that way. And so, in my opinion, it's proof that the religion has been irreparably corrupted, so to speak, which is rather sad. Copium Poppies. Speaking of the Polish, you should check out Lunatic Soul. It's the singer from Riverside solo project, where the albums are a multi-part story of a dead dude's journey through the afterlife. That sounds bitchin'. Sigil. Low church is nice and all, but cathedrals are cool as fuck. Yes, but the money and the materials you've used to build the cathedral have been denied to people who are in need, genuine need. That same cathedral, the money that you've used on it could house 1,000 poor people and help them. Which one is more Christian? A soaring cathedral, very impressive, admittedly. I'd love to see Notre Dame. But for the price of rebuilding Notre Dame, you could house 100,000 people who are in need. Like the entire impoverished population of France basically could be housed. Da brew that do, why are you a pirate? Arr, matey. I was in the Caribbees once. We was fighting the British. We comes up to a ship, right? We has our schooner, and they's got their galleon. We gives them a broadside, and they come up alongside us. They give us a broadside. Looked like all hope was lost. We gets onto the rigging, right? We takes the ropes, we cuts them. We fly onto the deck like Tarzan, and we starts fighting with them. And they gives up real quick because we find out they was out of food and rum for several days. They was all emaciated and so forth. They was attacking us because they thought that they could take our supplies. So we charges the deck. We say, we're taking your ship. We're going to take your supplies, but we're going to put you in port. I was generous as captain at the time. Gives him a little money, don't you know? Gives him a good meal. Takes him into port. We drives him into the port, and we docks the ship. Of course, some of the men stay aboard there. Some of the men, of course, have to be aboard our ship. Of course, the USS Styx. And then they mutiny. They start attacking my men. So we gives them another broadside, sinks them right into the harbor, and every one of them dies. Oh, it was glorious. Then we decides to go into the wreckage, and we grabs the treasure. Ha ha ha. I don't know, it's just funny to me. Being serious must be literally the worst hell in the world. Having to be like, putting on the goddamn monkey suit, working in the goddamn cubicle. I mean, I know that some of you probably do. Some of you are probably watching me from a cubicle now. I pity you because I can't do that. It's impossible. Not going to happen. Gabe, make a chi ball. Yes, in the chi, the contraposition is part of the energy form. Very interesting. That's actually one of the reasons why I thought up the basic premise, and I said, shit, doesn't this bleed over into politics, business, and literally everything else? Food, which we just openly discussed. The brew that do. Has Disney reached out regarding their next Pirates of the Caribbean lead? No, thanks. I'm not working with Disney. Sigil Stone, rum, beer, quests, and mead. These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail under the sign of a storm of ale. I've got a literal pirate flag behind me for a reason. Basically, though, back in those days, hardtack and dried pork. That was pretty much your diet. You got to splice the main brace celebratorily on rare occasions. Otherwise, you drank grog. It wasn't a fun life. But the thing is, life on a pirate ship was actually better than life on the average galleon or frigate fielded by the average military. There, it was very hierarchical. People don't know this. They don't know anything about pirates. If you were in, the normal military and you were on a galleon or something, everything was hierarchical. The captain could be tyrannical or inept. That would be a problem. You were given basic bitch rations. You were ordered to do all sorts of shit. On a privateering vessel or on a pirate ship, it depended on whether it had a marquee, which literally we talked about earlier with regards to cartel violence. There was democracy, actually. It was almost a libertarian society in that ship. Contrary to popular belief, the captain of a pirate ship typically was not a tyrant. Typically, he acted in a relatively relaxed fashion. He would get better quarters and potentially better provisions. And in return for that, he was in charge in battle because it was understood that he was capable of being in charge in battle. Outside of battle, most decisions made aboard a pirate ship or a privateering vessel were democratic. So if the crew decided to say to the captain, fuck you, because you lost the last battle, they could simply take up a vote and they would throw him off. And he would just be a member of the crew and they would elect a new captain. You couldn't do that on a military vessel at the time. You can't do that on a military vessel now either, but I like the old Treasure Island from, 91. It had Christian Bale and then various other. Christian Bale in one of his early roles. Charlton Heston as Long John Silver. It even had Christopher Lee as Blind Pew. That's one of the best movies ever goddamn made. I guess I'm a vampire pirate. I'm not trying to be serious, by the way. Let's see. Dat brew that do. I think I got my $2 worth out of that one. Good sports sticks. Sigil Stone, dress as a pirate, listen to Ailstorm and Rumahoy. Life goals achieved. Yeah, I mean, why take life seriously? Your life will end anyway, so, might as well enjoy it while it's there. Latin hero. What do you make of Candace Owens' claims that Bridget Macron was born a man? I don't know, honestly. It sounds a lot like the claims about Michelle Obama being Michael Obama. I don't believe them. I need more evidence before I believe these sorts of claims. It seems like a fairly common claim about people who are politicians, who a lot of people dislike, and so their spouses automatically are trans or something like that. Press X to doubt. Give me more evidence, or, come on. She is a pedophile, though. I mean, what age was Emmanuel Macron when he first got together with her? Wasn't he still a teenager and she was already in her like 40s or something like that? I mean, it's okay to date a woman in her 40s, but you should probably be on childhood by then, DK Liberty, Memento Mori. Yes, great album by Depeche Mode. I was listening to Depeche Mode actually last night. Unfortunately, when I went to the record store, I couldn't find any Depeche Mode albums. They didn't have any. I got all sorts of good shit. Oh man, maybe I should show off my little collection. It's not huge, but I've got some good stuff. But yeah. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go off just for a second here and turn the camera and the audio off. I'm going to get my records and show them off. I also need to get a drink. I need some fucking kombucha. It's a big problem. I'm going long today. There's a reason for that. Oh, King of Biltong. Chicken thighs is greater than chicken breasts. Much more flavor and moist. Styx's favorite word. Press X to doubt. The breast is the perfect part. If you cook it properly, you turn it into a patty and put it on a piece of bread and load it up with fucking ketchup and honey mustard. And it's one of the greatest things in the world. One of the few ways that I like ketchup. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll show off my album collection. I would show off the coins. I think I'll have to do that tomorrow along with having my data board. Again, this is a very mature stream. Just a sec. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, it's record time. A little bit of vinyl for you. I know for some reason, like older generations and younger generations tend to like vinyl. A lot of millennials aren't really into it. I myself am a fan, of course. Reality. Stick says he's against government, yet votes for more government. Nope. Don't worry, I'll show off the vinyl. Give me a second. God damn. Yeah. We're going to show off a little bit of the collection. There's probably 200 or 300 vinyl albums downstairs, actually. Many of them are from my mom, from back in her day. Dad has some. And there's another parse of the collection as well. These ones are dedicatedly mine, though. I got them at the local record store, actually, fairly recently. The brew that do the Obamas disappear people like the Clintons? If not, I'd be willing to go on record saying Michelle had made me touch her penis. Goodness. AP Special Education. Breast is the best, but only if you drench it in sauce and eat it in a sandwich. N-word, do you hear yourself? You can just eat thigh on its own. It's delicious. Is your threshold whatever tastes better with ketchup? I like to mix ketchup and honey mustard when I'm making fried chicken. I mix it together 50-50, and I use that as my dipping sauce. Anyways, let's go through the vinyl. This one is probably going to surprise a lot of people that I actually have a vinyl copy of it. Yeah. Born to Die by Lana Del Rey. I'm sorry, I've got a soft spot for Lana Del Rey. I realize she's a raging liberal. I don't give a fuck. I think that it's quite talented, actually. Good album cover, too, when you think about it. So we get Lana Del Rey. And Dark Paradise is probably my favorite song. Born to Die is a good song. There's a third. Well, I like National Anthem. Summertime Sadness. I mean, she's got some bangers on there, really. I don't give a fuck. I've got, oh yeah, here's one of my favorites. I've got Ultravox. Yeah, and it's got The Voice. That's my favorite song on here is The Voice. All of their music is good, but The Voice is like a cut above, and I love the music video. There's a reason that I shared it out, actually, the other day. Love that one. This won't surprise anyone. Dwight Eisenhower. This is, by the way, 2 albums. It's narrated by Bob Considine, written and edited by Jim Wessel. And it's basically like political screeds about Dwight Eisenhower from other people. Khrushchev, I believe, is on here, or Gorbachev, actually. Churchill, Roosevelt, de Gaulle, Truman, Nixon, and Khrushchev, and others, narrated by Bob Considine. I just got that on a whim, and it was dirt cheap, by the way, because most people aren't into that sort of thing. This one I really love. Mediterranean Tales Across the Waters by Triumvirate. Yeah. It's pirate music, basically. It's sort of, it was a little different than I expected. It's more like, not organ music, but kind of similar. Like, I don't know. It's good, though. I've listened to that several times. Lime. I couldn't help but get this one. Classic 80s. Yeah, absolutely spectacular. Lime, very underrated, by the way. I actually found out about this particular act years ago. I never figured that I would find a vinyl album, actually, of the material. There's only $5, so I figured, hell, I'm putting that in the fucking... I'm putting that in there. This one was a joke. I've got to show you something fucking hysterical. Engelbert Humperdinck's Christmas. I got this as a gag joke. My dad used to say Engelbert Humperdinck all the time because he thought the name was funny. And I found this in the dollar bin at the vinyl store. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to present it to him as a gift. I'm literally going to give it to him. I'm going to force him to listen to it as well. So speaking of my dad, Silent Night, White Christmas, A Night to Remember, Silver Bells, Christmas Time Again, Christmas Song, and so forth. So this is, I mean, yeah. Engelbert Humperdinck. I'm real serious. This is one of my favorites. Oh, yeah. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And this is an original press, by the way. This is from my mom's collection, actually. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, honey. Don't you know that I love you? Apparently, the backstory is that the lead singer, he showed up to the studio to record what was going to be in the Garden of Eden, but he was absolutely plastered. And so he kept saying In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, and they said, that's kind of catchy. Let's re-record it. That makes sense. Apparently, alcohol, or, well, probably multiple other drugs, are responsible for one of the greatest metal songs in history, proto-metal at least. So, yeah. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, you gotta have that. This one's a classic, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. No surprise that I would have a copy of that. This is one of the greatest albums of all time. Not many people try to counterstand that fact. My mom, I think, already had a copy of it, but it got fucked up, so I decided to get a new one. I don't know. I haven't listened to this one, but I do have Purple Rain by Prince. Just because, you know, it's an iconic album, and I'm like, well, you know, this one's a limited edition, apparently. I don't know. This one's from Walmart, actually, which is hysterical. The other ones I mainly got at the vinyl store. This won't surprise anyone. The Best of Washington Humor. If you can get a copy of this, I strongly recommend it. Sometimes politicians crack jokes. And so I saw this when I was in Woodstock, actually, the last time. This wasn't even from the vinyl store. And I saw that there was a bunch of vinyl there, and I was perusing through them. I saw this for like $3, literally. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's mine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You've got, let's see. You've got Chet Huntley with the intro. He's the one hosting. Sergeant Shriver, Chet Huntley, Brooke Hayes, Barry Goldwater, President Kennedy, Adlai Stevenson, several times actually, Charles Halleck, Thurston Morton, Brooke Hayes, Mortimer Kaplan, Barry Goldwater again, Donald Ray Matthews, and Kenneth B. Keating. I mean, it's spectacular, actually. Some of the jokes are fucking hysterical. This is a good one. I am so glad I got this back in the day, and I got it for a goddamn $1, and this was a long time ago. Men Without Hats, Rhythm of Youth. Get this album. That's what I'm talking about. There's only one skippy part, too. I mean, I got it cheap, but it's only got one skippy part, and I don't understand. Like, they should have been selling it for $10 instead of $1. Creedence Clearwater Revival, the concept rather. This is, of course, you got Bad Moon Rising, and you got Fortunate Son, all of the other great songs that they've made. One of the most meaningful albums actually made. Let's see. Oh, this one's out of its slip for some reason. Oh, this is Ravi Shankar. That's right. The cover to this one fell apart, unfortunately. But I've got Ravi Shankar. He worked with George Harrison, of course, and did a bunch of cool music. He mainly played the sitar, actually. This is hysterical. Another dollar bin value. Funny version. Yeah, this is basically a jazz routine. And it's actually really, really good considering the cost. I'm assuming a lot of times albums that are otherwise really, really good are put in the dollar bin effectively because there's no demand for them. And so you can get some really great stuff, you know, B-sides and all sorts of shit like that. And you can get them cheap. Now I'm going to go back to the vinyl store again. And I've saved the best for last. Sabbath, bloody Sabbath. That's what I'm talking about. You've got Sabbath, bloody Sabbath, National Acrobat, Fluff, Sabracadabra, Killing Yourself to Live, Who Are You, Looking for Today, and Spiral Architect. One of the premier greatest albums of literally all time, and definitely one of the greatest albums within metal. Managed to get a copy. This was not in the dollar bin, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, oh, I love it. 666. It says that for a reason. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, okay, I'm already spending like $50 on this other vinyl. This one's like 30 or something. Is it really going to break the bank? Yeah, I guess I'll take a couple extra super chats. You're literally funding my addiction to Black Sabbath, my friend. Yeah. So I get Ozzy in his fucking prime and all sorts of crazy shit. And they've got all sorts of other crazy shit too. I'm going to have to go back there and spend a couple of hours perusing, especially in the dollar bins, because I figure, okay, I've got $20 to burn. You know, I can get some vinyl. And they repair them as well. Sigil, $5 says Annie Lennox is in here. I do actually have one of the Eurythmics albums, but I could not find it. I think it's downstairs, unfortunately. I would show off the rest of the collection, but I mean, I can't live stream for 4 or 5 hours. I mean, I can, but if you want me to show off more, you can tell me. Aquafan, growing up, my grandfather was the only guy I knew with vinyl, and it was all Western art music, opera, orchestra, piano, etc. So as a kid, I thought all vinyl was like that, but I loved it. Continued. The Brew That Do. I think my best thrift shop vinyl finds lately were a couple of Ink Spots records, Jimmy Dean and Bing Crosby. Aquafan, my favorite vinyl record today is Mahler's Second Symphony, but unfortunately it has a scratch and it skips. But my grandfather helped inspire me to become the music theorist and educator I am today. What I want to get, I want to get some Deep Purple and some Dio. I want to get some more orchestral music, classical stuff. I like Bach's organ compositions, and I like Tchaikovsky as well. I do have a couple of Tchaikovsky albums in there, but they're not mine, so I won't show them off. Hopefully the 1812 Overture is on them. Man, that's what I want to be killed to. When I die, play the 1812 Overture. That's my only wish. There are multiple reasons for this. But, yeah, I've got, that's just a small sampling of the vinyl collection. I think it's got to be 300 albums. Some of them are those little ones. You have like just the A and B sides. Most of them are full length albums. I don't even know 100% what's down there. I have to go through them probably. Brain salad surgery. Interesting. Yeah, the 1812 Overture is nostalgic because it was what was playing at the end of V for Vendetta. And of course, I was using 4chan at the time. This is back before Anonymous was retarded, basically, before it became just nothing but leftoids. This is back during Project Chanology and things like that. I think we do have some Jethro Tull, actually. I know there's let me go down and grab a bunch of them and just show them off. I'll be right back. I mean, this is a totally mature stream, obviously. We're going on 2 hours now. Doesn't really matter. Let me go grab a stack. All right, everyone, we have some more vinyl. I don't even know exactly what's down here. I haven't actually seen all of them, but we got some Led Zeppelin. That's for sure. Yeah. Do you think that this would be a Styx-Hexen household without Led Zeppelin in it? My God, you must be insane. The Sound of Music. Yeah. The soundtrack. By the way, one of the best soundtracks of all time, actually, for movies. Grand Funk Railroad. I haven't listened to this one. I'm not necessarily, I've never actually heard a song by them, so I can't really vouch for that. That was my mom's. And more Grand Funk as well. I'm assuming that they're good. She tends to be like a rocker chick more than anything else. She's not into retard music. The Southern Cannonball by Hank Snow. I think that might have belonged to my grandfather, actually. I'm pretty sure that it did. All these, by the way, are in pretty much pristine condition. Never giving them up for any price. 16 Tons, Tennessee Ernie Ford. I think that's folk music. I haven't listened to this one either. I haven't listened to some of these. I love the smell of old records, by the way, and old books. It has a unique smell, yeah. Burl Ives, Songs of the West. I love Burl Ives, so I love this record. In fact, maybe I'll play that I'm going to put that aside to play it later. Flamenco Festival in Hi-Fi, actually. I don't think that's a common one. Yeah, my mom is really cool. She's an old hippie chick. Julian Lennon. That one's got a little dust on it. Valiant. I like Julian Lennon. Julian and Sean. They both have some considerable musical talent. What can I say? Song of the West by Ed McCurdy. Yeah. Again, some of these. The thing is, even if a record is scarce, there has to be demand for it. Otherwise, the price tends to be low. So, you get a couple dollars for this in this condition. The record itself is perfectly playable. I've actually done it. Bill Cosby, 200 miles per hour. Bill Cosby been sticking his poodle pop and wearing it don't belong. Oh, lordy lord. Yeah, I'll probably listen to that too. Burl Ives and Bill Cosby. Makes a whole lot of sense. Bobby Sherman. I have absolutely no idea who that is, by the way. I've never listened to this particular album. And keep in mind, this is a very small selection of the vinyl that's on hand. That Jello pudding, poodle pop. Buckaroos, meanwhile, back at the ranch. I'm going back home where I belong. You let me down. Peter Patter, woman truck driving fool. I got a letter from home. It's probably the only copy that still exists or something like that. Some of these are very obscure. Loggins and Messina, so fine. Kenny Loggins? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Oh, more Burl Ives. I didn't even realize this one was down there. Long Black Veil, Delia, I Walk the Line. Oh, Burl Ives does I Walk the Line. That sounds cool as fuck, honestly. I'm going to have to listen to that one, too. More Grand Funk, Shining On. I didn't realize that my mom was such a huge fan of Grand Funk Railroad. Apparently, she is. More Grand Funk. I think she's got every fucking album. Closer to Home. Yep. Grand Funk's live album. Grand Funk's Survival. So effectively, we've got the whole Grand Funk Railroad collection. I was under the impression she was more of a fan of AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and stuff. Oh, this is a cool one. Yeah, look at that cover. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, rip up some shit, man. Let's go crazy. Oh, I love this one. The Allman Brothers. I am a big fan of their music. Yeah. Peach. Oh. In perfect condition. The Music of Spring. This one probably would not be down anyone's alley because it's got Barbara Streisand on it. Probably thinking 90% of the audience would not enjoy that particular album. But, I mean, if you can find a copy and you want it, yeah, do whatever you want. The Police, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Back when they were actually good. Spirits in the Material World, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, Invisible Sun, Hungry for You, Demolition Man, Too Much Information, Rehumanize Yourself, One World, Omegamon, Secret Journey, and Darkness. Good album, by the way. Thoroughly Modern Millie. Julie Andrews is Millie and Carol Channing. All right, that's an old album. I'm assuming, again, that's one from my grandfather. Don't worry, I'll reorganize all of these when I'm done. Oh, I gotta turn this around. Senator Sam at Home. That's probably, again, one of the only copies of that actually exists. Some of these are quite rare, and they're all in virtually perfect condition. The Great Songs of Christmas, with Robert Goulet, Leonard Bernstein, Morning Terence Choir, Julie Andrews, Eugene Ormandy, Norman LeBeouf, Isaac Stern, and so forth. Great Songs of Christmas. There's a lot of Christmas albums here. Again, I think most of them were owned by my grandfather originally. And, yeah. Hootenanny, America's Greatest Folk Singers on One Album with the Excitement of a Live Performance, Volume 2. Hootenanny. I love that word, by the way. It's underused. You gotta have yourselves a hootenanny. I'm gonna do that in New Orleans, by the way. Country Classics, Hank Snow, The Singing Ranger, and his Rainbow Ranch Boys. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes I like country music, but it's got to be like the bluegrass side of country. It can't be like the Garth Brooks bullshit country, like country rock. I'm not interested in it. More Great Songs of Christmas. Again, probably a fairly uncommon album. In Stereo with Andy Williams, Percy Faith, and others. Johnny Mathis, Tony Bennett, Anthony Newley, and whatever. More Great Songs of Christmas. Apparently, I grabbed Christmas Stack. Great Songs of Christmas. Norman Luboff, Leonard Bernstein, Nelson Eddy, Eugene Ormandy. He seems to appear quite frequently in Christmas songs. Last Date by Floyd Kramer, featuring the original hit recording of Last Date. Oh, how sad. He had to go. Probably got shot or something in the play. Country Caravan by Tex Carmen. That's what I'm talking about. Why is his head, by the way, so large in proportion to his body in that picture? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Oh, yeah. I remember listening to this as a little kid, although I did it on cassette. Peter and the Wolf. You remember that one? One of the old classics from Disney, Peter and the Wolf. That was great. And of course, there's some vaguely ethnically inappropriate remarks in there. Oh, yeah, I've still got it. I got this years ago. Folk Songs and Minstrelsy. This is like 4 vinyl albums, by the way, in this pack. Oh man, I missed that. I didn't know it was still there. I'm putting that to the side. That's mine. That doesn't belong downstairs. Fiddler on the Roof, of course, because Fiddler on the Roof is hysterical. I think this is a 2-volume set. Yeah, this is a 2-volume set. It's got the entire soundtrack. Really, really great, actually. The music on it was superb. And I think, didn't I buy this quite some time ago? I don't know. I've got to organize the vinyl, apparently. Oh, yeah. These ones were mine to begin with. Yeah. Christmas with the Chipmunks. Volume 2. Yeah. That was fun back in the day. Oi, Gewalt! Life of Party brings corpse to life. Is there sex after death? Modern Scream by Lily Tomlin. One of the greater stand-up comedians, actually, of the age. And they have one skit on here where there's a woman ranting, where she's ranting about being addicted to chewing rubber and like chewing the edge off canes and off doors and stuff like that. And then she's like, now I've just become a regular, average, socially acceptable alcoholic. That was funny as fuck. Ernestine turns table on gynecologist. Mrs. Beasley undercovers real dirt in laundromat. Unborn fetus found in sorority incinerator. Homemaker confesses to unnatural cravings. That's the rubber part. Tasteful lady spends night in motor court. Lily Tomlin takes bad trip through Midwest, loses her mind in Manhattan, Kansas. One of my favorites. Oh, I'm going to have to Ooh, this one's good. Sounds to make you shiver. This is the sort of thing that you play on Halloween out the window. You know, if there's anyone coming around. Still in perfect condition, though. I've played it a couple of times. I don't know what it's worth, but I would never sell it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe I'll play that later. It's got like spooky organ music and shit like that. Yeah. Apparently I'm going to have to make like a mega video just showing off the rest of the vinyl collection, because there's a lot of it. It'll take like 30 minutes or something like that. I wasn't even paying attention to chat. I was just showing off the fucking shit. I know there are at least a couple more super chats over here and several Rumble rants. Mr. Buster Pants, lay the needle down, never drop it. George Paul, Sticks, these folks are losing their shit over Doge. It was literally anyone else doing it, they wouldn't have a problem. The propaganda machine has its hooks in people real deep. True. Aquafan, I played Nelson's Passacaglia in symphonic band when I was in undergrad. It starts slow and soft and finishes bombastic, meant to represent a move from dark into light. It'll blow your socks off. I'm pretty sure that I've heard that one, actually. Copium Poppies. I saw Sean Lennon play live with the Claypool Lennon Delirium twice. If you haven't heard, definitely listen. Especially if you like Primus, The Beatles, Pink Floyd, and Sabbath. One Tall Order. Sticks, you mentioned on stream yesterday that you had the perfect crystal in mind to put on a staff. Did J.D. Vance give you that? Does it contain the trapped souls of libtards? Contains trapped souls, that's for sure. Aquafan, if you want some exciting Western art music, check out Le Prélude by Franz Liszt. Franz Liszt, sorry. Till Eulenspiegel's Merry Pranks by Richard Strauss, and Passacaglia Homage on Bach by Ron Nelson. Yeah, you can't even listen to all of the good music in the world at this point in one lifetime. Even if you listen 24/7, you would only be able to absorb like 10% of the good songs that were made, the ones that would be aesthetic. I try to find new music as often as possible because I don't want to be an old fogey, but it's becoming increasingly difficult because certain websites that shall not be named keep algorithmically changing over and over again. At this point on YouTube, for example, I have to choose a genre and then go to playlists for that genre and hope that I find something new. Like if I want new dark wave or something like that, and then I have to use a bunch of filters and crazy shit like that, which I shouldn't have to do. It's highly regrettable. Very, very sad. Yeah, I'm surrounded by vinyl now, and this is only a small proportion of them. I'll have to get the 45s up as well. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll have my dad on. I'm going to do a chill stream tomorrow, basically. I'll have my dad on to ramble about food briefly. And then I'll bring the rest of the vinyl up and I'll show it off maybe or something like that. I don't know. We've gone for 2 hours. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I do have to actually docket news for tomorrow, as well as coordinate with other people. And at some point, I should probably eat. You know, it's kind of optional, but not really. You know, eating is generally recommended as part of your regular diet. So I'm going to do that. And I'll try to get the vinyl aboard for tomorrow, ARM80s, and we'll take a look at that. That's about all. Peace out.